සුබ දවසක් හැමෝටම. මම ප්‍රසාද් ශ්‍රීමාල්. අද PSR Log channel එකෙන් අරගෙන එන්නේ අපි මීට කලින් කරලා නතර කරපු program එකක්. ඒ තමයි මේ mock interview series එක software engineering industry එකේ. මම කලින් එක software engineering level එකේ interview එකකුයි ඒක තමයි මම කරපු මුල්ම වීඩියෝ එක සිංහලෙන් කරේ එක. නමුත් ඊට පස්සේ mock interviews දෙකක් කරා මම internship level එකෙන්. ඒ හැම එකක්ම මගේ mock interviews playlist එකේ store කරලා තියෙනවා. ඔයගලන්ට mock interview playlist එක use කරන්න පුළුවන් ඔයගලන්ගේ interview practicing lessons කීපයක් විදියට. ඉතින් මේක මම නතර කරේ අතර මට තිබ්බ කාර්යබහුලත්වයත් එක්ක නමුත් මම තීරණය කරා මේක ආපහු පටන් ගන්න. මේක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම free කරන එකක්. ඔයගලන්ට ඔයගලන්ගේ interviews වලට තියෙන confidence එක ඊට පස්සේ ඔයගලන්ගේ knowledge එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැනට නොදන්න දේවල් මොනවද කියලා දැනගෙන හොඳින් prepare වෙන්න ඔයගලන්ගේ actual interview එකට මේ mock interview series එක බොහොම වැදගත් වෙයි කියලා හිතුන නිසා. ඉතින් මේ හැම දෙයක්ම නිසා මේකට තියෙන ඉල්ලුම ගොඩක් වැඩි වුණා. ගොඩක් අය message දාලා mock interviews වලට අවස්ථාවක් ඉල්ලුවා. නමුත් මේක මම තනියම කරන වැඩක් නිසා මට හැමෝටම අවස්ථාවක් දෙන්න කාලයක් තිබුණ නැහැ. ඒ නිසා මම CVs ටික අරගෙන ඒපු හැමෝගෙම CVs මම ගත්තා. කවුරුත් ඇතෑරියේ නැහැ. ඒ හැම CV එකක්ම බලලා CVs ටික මම ෆිල්ටර් කරගෙන මට පුළුවන් මට්ටමින් ඒ තෝරාගත්ත CVs ටිකට විතරක් මම messages යවලා mock interviews arrange කරගත්තා. ඒ නිසා කලිනුත් ඔයා mock interviews වලට ඉල්ලුම් කරලා තියෙනවා නම් සහ ඔයාට මොකුත් reply එකක් ආවේ නැත්නම් ඔයාගේ CV එක සහ ඔයාගේ experience මේ වෙනකොට ඊට වඩා update වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් නැවතත් මට CV එකක් එවන්න. මම අනිවාර්යෙන් මේවා consider කරනවා. එක CV එකක්වත් අතාරින්නේ නැහැ. බොහෝ දුරට ඔයාගේ CV එක select වුණොත් ඔයාට අනිවාර්යෙන් message එකක් දාලා මම ඔයාගේ mock interview එක ready කරලා දෙනවා. එතකොට මම මේ වීඩියෝ එක අරන් ආවේ අද මම senior software engineer level එකේ mock interview එකක් කරා. මේ ඉන්ටර්වියු එක සහ මේ ඉන්ටර්වියු එකෙන් පස්සේ මම දෙන ෆීඩ්බැක් එක ඔයගලන්ට ගොඩක් වැදගත් වෙයි කියලා හිතුන නිසා මම ඒක ෂෙයා කරන්න තීරණය කරා. ඒ අදාළ ඉන්ටර්වියු කැන්ඩිඩේට්ගේ පූර්ණ අනුදැනුම ඇතුව. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා මේ ඉන්ටර්වියු එක බලන්න, මේ ඉන්ටර්වියු එක අවසානයේදී මම දෙන ෆීඩ්බැක් එක බලන්න. ඒ වගේම මේ සතියේ සහ ඉදිරි සති කීපය ඇතුළත මේ වගේ මොක් ඉන්ටර්වියුස් කීපයක්ම කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඒ හැම එකක්ම ඔයගලන්ට වැදගත් වෙයි කියලා හිතනවා. ඔයගලන්ගේ බොහෝ විට software engineering සම්බන්ධව විතරක්ම interviews යන අයට නෙවෙයි ඕනම field එකක interviews යන අයට මම අවසානයේ දෙන feedback එක ගොඩක් දුරට වැදගත් වෙයි. ඒ පොදුවේ ගොඩක් අයට වැදගත් වෙන feedback එකක් තමයි මම මේ වීඩියෝ එක ඇතුළේදී දෙන්න තීරණය කරන්නේ. වීඩියෝ එකෙන් එළිය මම එයාගේ questions වලට specific උත්තර ටිකකුත් වෙනම දෙනවා. නමුත් වීඩියෝ එක බලන හැමෝටම පොදුවේ උදව්වක් ඕන වෙන විදියට වීඩියෝ එකේදී මම පොදුවේ හොඳ feedback එකක් දෙන්න උපරිම උත්සාහ කරනවා. මේ වීඩියෝ එකෙත් මම එහෙම කරලා තියෙනවා. එනිසා මේ වීඩියෝ එක බලන්න. ඊළඟ සති කිහිපය ඇතුළත තව senior software engineer, තව tech lead interviews, ඊළඟට software engineer development level එකේම විතරක් නෙවෙයි තව QA, business analyst, project management, devs වගේ interviews හැම එකක්ම මම කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. mock interviews මේ හැම area එකකටම යන අයට හොඳ practice එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්, හොඳ database එකක් හදන්න මේ mock interview සරහා. ඒ වැඩේ කොහොමත් අපි දැන් පටන් අරන් තියෙන්නේ. අපි ඉස්සරහට මේ වැඩේ කරගෙන යමු.
Hi, Pramodi. Let's start. So, can we start with an introduction of you?
Yes. Hi, Prasad. I'm a software engineer with over 2 years of experience in developing user-friendly, responsive web applications with a strong focus on React.js and Next.js. After graduating, I joined with my previous company, Tech Ventures, and there I had I gained valuable experience in through contributing to large-scale projects. And during that time, I gained my experience in front-end development and as well as strengthened my skills in team working, communication, and leadership, and also my analytical and problem solving skills. So during that time there was a project that is within strictly deadline, so I had to train junior team members to quickly onboard into the project. So I had several KT sessions and one-on-one meetings with them, and it boost the team productivity by 25%. So, and while contributing my own contributions by 20%. So now I'm currently working at System Arc IT Solutions as a software engineer. There, where I contributed to develop, contributing to develop web applications in banking sector. So I'm a person who always eager to learn new technologies and always strives to maintain a highest standard at possible in my work. So I aim to grow myself as a leadership role in software industry in future, while contributing my utilize my experience to organization thrive.
Okay, good. So throughout this years of experience you have during past companies you involved with, can you mention or can you remember what was the very or most complex project you have involved with previous companies? One project I'm talking about. With this project, you might have different kind of complexities with different approaches, and you might have taken some different solutions for them. Can you remember that project? And if so, can you explain in brief how you could overcome all those complexities?
Yes, actually, when I working with Tech Venturas, I had an opportunity to work on the order and delivery management system. So in that project, it enables product ordering through this portal to B2B and retail customers and sales team besides the client, and also it covers the back office operation. So it developed using React.js, TypeScript, and MUI and RTK Query. So in that project, both and customers and internal staff members are log into the system, and all the operations are governed by the permissions that role-based permissions that granted by the admin portal. So they have contributed to develop key major features like user management, master data management, report generation, audit logs, and role-based dashboards, and order process or sales order processing. So there, in addition to the feature development, I have made some key decisions that enhance systems performance and user experience. For example, there was a table with over there was a table component I implemented that advanced and optimized table component which can handle large volume of data in efficient manner. So and also I applied range of optimization techniques across the application by refining how data is fetched and displayed, and reducing unnecessary re-renders. So, and also I focused on creating an intuitive interfaces, particularly for the order management, and this helped to reduce the impediments, the frictions for users while performing the complex tasks. So that's the all about the project that I worked.
Okay. Good, because I asked this question to get the idea of how you handled such project during your past companies or past projects you have involved with, because I'm going to align my questions along with this project you mentioned. So we can clarify how you sorry, we can clarify how you could manage those complexities with the like technologies or whatever the things or skills you have with React, and if it is Next.js, for Next.js. So I assume you have the basic idea of React.js. Before going to the JavaScript knowledge, let's start with that since you mentioned this project. So I assume you know what React is and how it differs from other frameworks like Angular and Vue.js. So can you mention that you mentioned that you could handle some complexity data structures throughout that form component you created, and I assume that you have already managed that complexity within your React component as well. Can you mention what kind of techniques or what kind of, in specific, what kind of React hooks you use to manipulate or handle those complexities, or how you could optimize the data processing using those React hooks or whatever the technologies you used? One or two, maybe? Like, let's
Yes,
say we have different kind of React hooks, like use state, use effect, different kind of things, right? So there are some certain of React hooks are specific to do some performance improvements, right? Some of those React hooks does the same thing or same effect, but in different approaches, right? For example, if we can create a use effect hook to demonstrate how the component did update or component did mount lifecycle works, you can do the same use effect hook in a different approach to create the component will unmount hook, right? So we have different approaches to use the same React hook. In the same way, I think we can have some different React hooks for performance improvements specifically. Can you remember one or two you used in your projects?
Yes. In the calculations, I have used use memo hook. As I remember, I have use memo is hook that helps us to catch the result of a expensive calculation between the renders, and actually within the table component that I created, that with the complex calculation, that in that case I use memo hook, and it takes a function, an array of dependencies as input, and returns the cache value that can be reused between re-renders. So that is one of the hook that I have used.
Okay. What was the form component you used, or form library? Or is it
We
like a
use
different native HTML?
No, we use React hook forms as the form like package.
React hook forms, okay. Do they have, I actually can't remember, do they have different custom hooks to use React hook forms, or how it works? I mean, how you can set up the React hook forms, like a simple structure, or you have to create some like dedicated components or classes for it and then use it? How it works?
Yes, in React hook forms, we can first of all, we have to register the form under the we have to first of all we have to register the form, and then we can each of the input field we have to wrap with a controller that provided by React hook forms, and along with that before that we have to there is a hook called use form coming from React hook forms, and there we have to initialize the fields that are going to be in the our form, and we have to provide the default initial values with that, and then we can use inside the hook we can pass a schema that can be a schema that we can pass a validation schema inside that using in my the project that I was working is use the joy validations, and joy validations we can mention either we can there is a specific way to define how the each and field if that is a number field we can have a numbers and strings are validated through the specific way that joy validation library provides, and then within the after submitting the there is a submit button should be a type of submit, and then the when we register the component with our form in the React hook forms, we use the handle submit function with the form tag as on handle on click event, and there we with the whole application, the whole form is wrapped with the on-click event with the handle submit provided by the React hook form, and we can pass the that on submit logic that we on submit logic function that we defined in the application in the program within the handle function handle submit function. So that's how React hook form works.
Okay. After you're creating this React hook form, so you will have a submit function or a wrapper to submit the data, as you mentioned, to send it to the backend, right? So to send them to the backend, I assume you had to create some, not some, but one of API integration technologies currently available. What have you used to create the API client or API integration tool? Like, did you use Axios or did you use Redux or React Query? How it works?
Yes, in the project, we used RTK Query as the API integration state management library. So within the in there we can in Redux toolkit RTK Query there is a slice we can have slices that there in RTK Query there is a separate section for API slices, and we can define our APIs within APIs in that files and inside the when we call the when we call the API in the our JSX file, we can we have to import that's through RTK Redux toolkit, and we can import that like using use lazy hooks and most probably we use lazy hooks that provided by RTK Query, and it's returns the arrays, and it returns an array which is the API call and data provided by the API and errors, and we can get the errors, and we can check check the errors in that submission, and inside the onSubmit function, I used a sync await approach, which return async await approach, and inside that along with the await sync await, we use try catch block to handle the error handling and the process.
Okay. Why you used RTK query? We have React queries. Does the same performance effects? Does the same functionality or implementation, and provides some extra benefits like it is like very lightweight, and also you can merge it with Redux as well in different ways. So can you quickly give me one reason why you didn't use React query and chose RTK query? Just because you have Redux already installed in your system, or any other reason? Oh, at the time you might not have the idea of React query or how it works. That could be answered as well. What was it?
Yeah, I don't have much idea about React Query.
Okay.
When I was start to work on the project, that project is already developed using RTK Query, and also in previous project, as my experience in the previous project that I worked with before this current project I'm talking about, that uses Redux toolkit in without RTK Query. In that case, I have noticed that it is more complicated than the RTK Query. RTK Query is more simplified than the normal Redux toolkit, and it is very easy to set up. So I think it's very helpful to deliver the project with strict deadlines with on time. So I think it's the reason.
Okay. So that was the reason you used RTK query. Okay. So I think I have an idea about how you handled such scenarios during your projects. Can we do a demonstration together? How you can go through a JavaScript-based question like a program or a data structure, and how you can find a solution for that, for this specific question. I think we can jump into that question right now. I will share a data structure with you. The same time, can you open your web browser and share the screen, please? I will give you the URL you need to open in this chat. So basically, JSFiddle is the website that I'm looking for. So you can open it and you can prepare your browser whatever the way you want, and you can share the screen whenever you are ready. Then I will share the data structure I have. Okay, I can see the screen. I will share this data structure I've been prepared with in the same chat. Let's see if I can paste it correctly. Yes. Could you please copy this code I just shared and paste it to the JavaScript console, or the JavaScript part of this JSFiddle. You have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and result. You need to paste the code to the JavaScript part. Right. Okay. I think your JSFiddle code editor is not listening to the formatters and prettier and whatever the UI interface. Anyway, you have the structure with you. Can you take a minute and realize what the data structure is, and can you feel it kind of familiar with you, or it's kind of a strange one? Can you check it or go through it in a minute? So I will help you to get the idea of the data structure as well, because we have limited time to do the interview. So we have data. It's an array, as you can see. It's an array of objects. You have the same object structure spreading through the array. And if you take one object, it has ID and assign it number. It has name, assign it a string. It has children. It's an array of the same structure of that main object, right? Okay. So children is nothing else but the same object with the same set of objects with the same structure that have in the parent object. So in the children object, you have another again ID, name, and children. If you have children, you will have either empty array, or you have the same object with objects with the same format that have the with the parent object. So that's the idea. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. And the key point here is you will not know what could be the maximum depth that can go for these children with their objects, because there's no any limitation to limit the number of depth that these children can go into multiple depths, or that data structure have different nesting levels, right? So the nesting levels or depth level has no any limit. So you will not know that how many depths you can go to process the data structure. Okay. Okay. Let's go to the question. My question is, how you can create a function? So this is pure JavaScript, right? You don't have to worry about any framework or any other fancy kind of thing. This is just about JavaScript. And my question is, if you happen to make this kind of data structure, and suppose you are asked to create a function to get all the names and create a flat array, right? So process this data structure and get all the names. So you have a property called name of all these objects. If there's an object, there'll be definite an attribute called name. So in the first main parent, the name is parent1. In its child, one of his children objects, there's been named parent called child1.1. Then you have grandchild 1.1. You have set of names, right? So create a program. So definitely will be a loop. So how you will go through this using a loop and get all the names and show it in an array. I will actually show you how the result would looks like. Let's say the result would be like this. So this is only a part of it. I will paste this on the chat. Right, so you'll have parent, you have child 1.1, grandchild 1.1, then you have grandchild 1.2, child 1.2, then parent 2. Inside parent 2, you have another names of children objects, right? So you just need to collect all the names and return them using a flat array. That's the challenge. Can you take a couple of minutes and think about the proposed solution? Because I'm not going to ask you to demonstrate or code it here, right? Because obviously you can take some like minutes or hours and think about the solution and put it in here, and you can start by trying different solutions, but we don't have the time for this interview because this is a limited amount of we have limited amount of time for this interview. And also you could try with some tools like ChatGPT or Google Bard with the different kind of ideas. I don't need that. Just think about this idea and give me how you could approach to the solution. So what you see and what are the techniques you can use or you can think about to having a solution for this, and how you can manage the solution, or how you can develop the code to get the solution, how you can use it. In words, please.
You told that within the function, there is a function with name, and we need to pass an argument as parent name. So with inside that function, we can call this data array and filter the parent name with the argument we passed through the argument we passed, and we can filter that parent, and we can check if there are children in that object. The children, if we can check whether the children object is more length is more than 1 or more than 1. If it is children arrays length is more than 1, we can get that array, and we can get that children name using we can get that children name, and we can then again check whether the nested children array has his length is more than 1. We can get the name of that children name. So
Right. So your answer is correct, more or less. It is correct. Yes, you have to work through, or you have to go through all the objects and child objects you have, and then you have to go through all the nested objects as well to get the names of those child object. Yes, so your approach is all is correct. And in technical terms, like when you create an actual function, how you can generate that solution into a program using what technology? Because I assume that you can't go through multiple depth levels of multiple levels of depths to use if and else, right? Because you could use if and else for the main parent to check if there is any child object, or if the children array is available, right? Then you can process that children object as well using another loop. But how you could go to the next level or the next depth level, because you will have to check that level with another if else, and if you have to create another loop for it. So it will be like unlimited number of loops and if else, right? When we say unlimited, it means we don't know the levels of depth, right? It doesn't mean that there would be unlimited number of levels. The idea is we don't know, or we have no idea how the depth level could go. So there will be unlimited number of nests and nested loops or nested objects. Then what kind of technology you could use to overcome this challenge, to simplify the solution, and still you can go to process all these levels of depths. Have you ever met with this kind of solution or problem so far?
Yeah, I had, but give me some time to think about that.
Okay.
We can find we have to pass the parent name as the argument, and then we have to filter that with the passed parent name, and we can extract that parent object, and then we can write a function called data dot children dot flatten. We have to, first of all, we have to flood that children array, and we can without coding, it's very pretty hard to describe it.
Okay, no worries. I think you got it almost, but the actual technological terminology wasn't there. That's okay. I will tell you, and I will give you an example as well, because my next question is based on the actual answer for this. The answer is you can process it using a recursive function, where you can provide the same function, or you can call the same function inside itself with the nested parameters. So first you can give the parent object as a parameter to the function, and using a conditional loop, you can provide or call the same function by giving a different argument or nested arguments, or like arguments with nested objects. So you will be able to process it, and you can mention another loop, not loop, but a condition using if else to stop that processing from it from processing whenever the children is not available anymore, right? So you are not looping through the known number of depths level in the data structure. You can't do it because the number of depth levels, it's unknown. So you can repeat the same function multiple times to go through these different kind of levels, depth levels, to go to the deepest level. And at the deepest level, you will notice that the children array is not there anymore. At that point, you can come out from that depth to the next parent or the next immediate parent. So that's how usually recursion functions work. So I will paste a solution because I'm saying that a solution means there would be some other solutions for this as well. Okay, I will give you one function how you could demonstrate this quickly. Oh, this is not formatted, I guess. Let's see. This is generated by ChatGPT. Can you try to copy this and paste it on your code in a new line? I put it in the chat. Okay, that's not formatted very well. Yeah. We have for loop. Inside it, we have names.push, and then we have if. Then we have names equal name.concat. And yeah. And you can clean it by removing all the comments. Because ChatGPT is always like to give the definitions or comments whenever it's possible. Okay, so we have something, right? We have a function called extract names, and it takes one argument called items. So when it say items, we can assume that it takes an array, right? And inside it, we have one array. We have declared one array called names, and you have one for loop to go through that items, because that items should have no number of objects or items inside it. So we declare an variable called item inside of each respect to each item inside that items array, and we push it to the names object. So we can assume that that is the parent name, the name of parent object. And then we have if condition to go to the depth levels, and that if condition should maintain how you can check if the depth levels is available or children is available or not. So you have to you don't have to worry about if the children is not there, but you have to do. You don't have to worry about that part because this if should handle that part as well. So it does actually. It checks if the children is available using the length, and if it is, it takes the names array that you already have at the top level, and it concatenates it with the names of the or the name of the children array or the children object, child object actually. So that that's how it works. Actually, the in the concatenation function, you can see the extract names function is being called again with the children array. So that's how the recursion function is working. Okay. So this is one solution you can provide. And my next question is, are you familiar with ECMAScript or ES6 in JavaScript? I think you do because you have mentioned it in the CV, as I remember.
Yes, can you hear me?
Sorry?
Yes, I'm familiar with ES6.
Okay. I think your loudness went a little low because I heard you previously very well. Now it's maybe different kind of situation we have right now. Anyway, so you have an idea of how ES6 works. Can you
Yes.
simplify this function and write it down using ES6? I mean, you can try. Doesn't have to be the very correct. If it is the correct one, that would be great. But you could try. Can you try to write this function using ES6? You can take new line. Yeah. And also, if you can like zoom it out a little bit, that would be better. Yep, that would be enough. And you can adjust the JavaScript section to cover the HTML part because we don't need that HTML part. So you can drag that JavaScript section to the top. In somewhere near that line between HTML and JavaScript, you will see the arrow icon and your mouse point. No, not that one. Between the two sections, there's no line actually. You can't see the line between the two sections. But if you hover your mouse between, yeah, there you go. Okay, Prabhuti, I will stop you there. Sorry, since you're using filter, items with filter function, I will stop you from there because we don't have to use filter because we are not going to filter the names. We just extract them. We need all the names. So filter wouldn't do the actual works there. I will give you the answer since we don't have the amount of time to go through this with another set of times. I will actually tell you the answer. You can try to write it down by your own. Go to another line. Or you could erase your part, the whole one. The function as well, the function name and with the bracket. Yeah. Because the first thing you would notice is when we use ES6, we don't use the function keyword. Usually we declare the function with constant as a constant, right? So you can start with const, then name. You can put another extra line between the upper answer with the one you are going to try. Yeah, and complete the name of the function. Extract names, and you can, if you are going to use const, you are declaring a variable. So whenever you declare a variable, you have to put equals and then the parameters, items, and then arrow function, right? Yeah, I think you know this part. And you don't have actually put the brackets because we can come to this solution with a single line. So actually the solution will be a single line because with ES6, we have so many characters to process, like different kind of processable content. Okay, so with our function, what do we have? We have items, which is an array. So you can process it using either map or flat map. Let's say flat map, because flat map does both mapping function as well as the flattening it. Okay, so you can type items dot flat map. Okay, and the first argument would be item. So items will have item, and with items you can also declare arrow function. And what do we have? You can return this array, right? Because eventually we need this array of names. So you can create an array. Just an empty array. And inside it, you can say item dot. So this item is single object, right? Item is single object you have. So you need item dot name, right? Because you need the name, item dot name, and then you can separate it using a comma inside the array. And then you can use the spread function or spread operator actually. You know spread operator, right? Please put a space between the comma and spread one so you will notice the difference. And actually you need to tell if item dot children is available, call this extract name functions again or not, just return just return nothing. So you can add parentheses like 2 brackets, and inside it you can say you know how to use the if else inline, right? You can use item dot children and question mark. But if you have items dot children, you need to call this function extract names again. You can actually take that items dot flat map into the next line. So you will have a whole new line for that. The first one, not the second arrow function, the first arrow function. No, the one you type will be fine. You have two arrow functions, right? So where's the first one? Yeah. From there, you can take a new line. Okay. So now if you have item.children, then you are going to call the same function with what? Not items, but item.children, right? Because item.children is another array, right? And then yeah, you could use it, or yeah, let's say you could use it because you anyway check item.children first, right? You checked item.children an mark. That means if that question mark passes, you will definitely have item.children. So you don't have to call it to an empty array. But here, yes, if not, you will need to process it using an empty object or empty array. Yeah. So this would return the same thing that returns by the previous answer, wouldn't it? What do you think? Right? Right? Because you are returning an array. As the first element of that array, you will have the object, not the object, but the name of the parent object. And then you're going to spread the rest of the part of it by calling the same function inside it. And after the first object or first name, the rest of the part would be doing the same thing inside that array, which is putting the parent name first and then go to the children. And inside the children, it would do the same, which is put the parent name first and then go to the children. So it will do the same recursion until this process is completed. Right? Got it?
Yeah, got it, Albert.
Yeah. Okay. I actually provided this solution because this is a mock interview, so you will have to understand the things you couldn't answer. And since we are almost done with our time, actually we are ahead of our time schedule already. We are actually not ahead, but delayed. Okay, anyway, I have couple of questions. I will raise them quickly. You can turn off your screen sharing. With these two questions, I have mostly non-technical. What's your current situation as a developer, where if you ask to do full stack engineering with a different technology that you have less experience with right now, what would be your answer if you are asked to? Let's say you're sitting for an interview for senior software engineer front end, and you will be hired as a front end. Let's say you are already hired as a front end developer, and at some point you are asked to do some backend works as well. And I can assume that you will be okay with that if that backend technology is also at least somewhat familiar with you, right? So that would be okay to a certain point. But let's say that the asking technology is not something you are familiar with. Then what would you do? Like, you can have different options, like you can say no, and if it goes like a different kind of conversations. You could leave the company. That would be one end answer. Or you could um, try to do that backend works by taking the knowledge. And also, you have to think about, if you go with that answer, you have to think about how you do it, because you have to perform like a experienced engineer in that particular area as well. So in a minute, like quick question or quick answer, how would you approach it?
Yeah, when company asks me to do backend as well, I will definitely get that opportunity because I'm the person who are eager to learn new technologies and so maybe I don't have prior experience, but we go through the project, or if there is a current project going on, I can go through the code and first of all I follow some YouTube tutorials that recommended by senior engineers, and I will do some technical projects that with basic to get basic idea how the actual projects are going on and set up and like that, and then I'm moved to study the backend project, and if I assign to do tasks, if I'm facing trouble, I definitely I try to solve that in with myself. But if I got more time than they expected, so I'm definitely connect with senior engineers, and I like to overcome the that challenges and make me a good proud full stack engineer. So yeah, that's the
Okay.
approach that I'm going to do.
Okay. Right. So with that answer, I have the other question would be the final question I have. Do you seek or do you expect a promotion or a salary increment with that requirements, or you would just adapt to it with the existing situation?
As soon as I got that opportunity, I'm not going to get a salary increment, ask to do a salary increment or something. But when I grow myself as a full stack engineer after 2, 3 after 1 year or some 1 year or the long 1 year, I will ask for that because I'm spending my time with both full stack and front end. Back end and both front end and full stack. So tasks, and so I'm not going to ask recently as soon as I assign to the back end, but within the time I will get a solution. I will ask to do a promotion. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I think I have covered most of the questions I am prepared with. I couldn't ask some certain questions because of the time limit we have. Anyway, since this is a mock interview, I will have already I already prepared with some feedbacks, not the whole feedback that I'm going to share with you after the interview, after a certain of time. But right now, I will give you some feedback because this is a mock interview, and you need to be prepared for your next actual interview with more confident and with more accurate and correct answers. So first of all, thank you for the interview, and thank you for accepting the interview. And then we have this feedback right now with us. So first of all, overall good answers, but I need to highlight two things right now. Then after the interview, I will give you some more insights of them as well. So two things. The major thing is I know that you have the right skills and right experience with the technology you are already playing with, but when you express yourself with the previous projects, like I asked to do, you will always have to prepare with the questions, like practical questions, along with those projects you have done, because most of the questions will be, since this is a senior software engineer level interview, most of the questions will be around with that project you talked about, because since you have already done something with those projects, I can assume that you have the right knowledge with that project, with that particular area. So in React, you have to be prepared with whatever the question you will be asked around that project, because I can ask thousands of questions in React, and I can't expect that you to answer all those questions, because most of those questions would not be relevant with you, because you have only 2 or 2.5 years of experience in the industry so far. But I can ask questions in React related to that project you just talked about, because in that project you have done certain of things, and you should be able to express them. So my key point is I feel lack of preparation and confident, because I think when I informed you about this interview, we had a couple of days to prepare. So that's okay for this mock interview, but not for the actual interview you're going to sit for in maybe next couple of weeks. But that preparation is a must, and also the confident how you can express those things, because when you put periods while you are talking, different words or different sentences, it feels like not me, because I know how you have that experience, because I have worked with you in couple of previous projects. But to another interviewer, they could feel like you are reading something, you are talking by reading something, or you are going through like preparing or set your words in line, or you are going to build your sentences by looking at something else, or you looking at like ChatGPT or something like that. To avoid that unnecessary situation, you should, I think, sharp your communication skills, right? Because they might feel like you're having lack of confidence in talking, you have lack of English skills, or whatever it is. So you have to prepare with that as well. That's one thing. And the second thing is, don't try to take big time gaps between question and answer, because it is okay to have it in the mock interview, so I can give this feedback for you. But when in an actual interview, don't take too much gaps between the question and answer. You have to be prepared with your answer, so you can answer it right after the question, because if that's not the case, either they can understand or they can assume that you are dealing with ChatGPT all the time, right? So you can type the question, whatever it is, quickly with your typing skills on ChatGPT and get the answer, and you can read it answer, because some of those interviews are not allowed to open the video. But when it is, but even if it is on video, you still can pretend like you are looking at the screen of camera, but still you can, using a sleight of hand and kind of different techniques, you can like cheat. But the point is, if even you are not cheating, the way you talked and the way you handle the questions, I mean answers for the questions, they might feel like you are doing some cheating stuff, right? So to avoid that, you have to give answers right away, and actually those answers has to be correct and accurate. But the key important thing is you have to maintain your confidence all the time. So even though you have the right skills and all the right experience for the particular job you are going to have, lack of experience, I mean lack of confidence in the interview would be a great disadvantage for you to pass to the next interview or to the next level during the hiring process, because good confident, having a great confidence in the interview would make yourself stand out among other candidates, because that would be very competitive when you are going to have another position, because right now in the industry we have a saturation environment where so many candidates are available for a single interview, even though that interview is supposed to be selecting one candidate or one person to fill that position. So that's the situation that we have right now. So you have to prepare for that. That's my part. Do you have any questions? No questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Actually, I got your feedback, and I noticed that there are so many mistakes that I made.
Yeah,
So,
actually, that's for this. That's what this mock interviews do, right? Because for the mock interview, you can do mistakes. So I can share this feedback with you. I will also share this recording with you as well. So you can take the credit for the correct and accurate answers you have given, and you can also at the same time you have to be careful about the things you have given wrong, and also the other feedbacks you have. Yeah, right. So that's it. I hope your next interview will be more accurate and you will be more confident in that one, since we have this. We did this and you got your feedback. So your next interview would be great, and I wish you all the best. Thank you, Pramodi.
thank you, Prasad, for giving me this opportunity today to do a mock interview with you. It was very valuable before I faced to the actual interview with this lack of preparation things. Thank you, Prasad.